People are asking, what happened to the Mike we used to know? Did Jordan Travis ruin Mike? Because like we called those same plays, those quarterback runs, but we had Jordan Travis last year, and if you remember, they weren't easy. Not like Jordan Travis was walking in on those. He was making plays because he was a beast. The offensive line, like pretty well, like they give time. They can do pretty good, but then Morey snaps it in the dirt, and then there's a false start, and it's just self-inflicted wounds on top of self-inflicted wounds on top of self-inflicted wounds, and there's only so much of that you can do before the defense is going to give up plays. And I get people are pissed. The defense sucks too, and this and that. And it's not a championship defense. It's not a great defense. But this is a defense that you could win. You could have won every single one of these games. You could have won this game. This is a team. SMU is a team you cannot get behind like this. Like there's just you played the offense, like the offensive linemen, the running backs, even DJU. Like what we saw in the first half to me was like a step forward. There was mistakes. It still didn't, go right. You had all these drops. Jaylen Brown dropped it twice. You had of course, the Morlock drop later on. That was a turnover. But you got down to the goal line. You got down here. You got down there. And it seemed like the coaches, man, I'll have to watch the replay, but live, this coaching, man, oh man, it was tough. Shout out to number 9. I'll have to rewatch the tape. Omar Graham Jr. He's taken a lot of heat this year. I seen him make a couple plays tonight. Defense on one of the big plays of the game to try to keep the game close. You end up getting Blake one-on-one with their big tight end. I get it. You brought the jumbo set out. I would have went with one less D lineman and figured out how to have somebody to cover that guy, number 82. But they didn't, and they know a lot more about coaching than me. It's hard for me to sit here and hammer Adam Fuller's defense, and I get it. And it's a good criticism I get from my co-hosts and stuff. It's like it's not just DJU, it's not just this. The defense is bad too. This is bad too, and I get all that. But we've seen it. We've seen it when Browse was here. We've seen it in the Taggart days. I'm not going to sit here and say it's worse than the Taggart days, but this feels a lot like 2018 when you've got Browse and you can't stay on the field, and the defense. I can't even remember what the defense was that year, but you can't get anything going. You can't just keep getting put on the field, and okay, you just made a stop in the red zone. Oh, you just blocked the field goal. Here you go. I know you just came off the field, but here now, stop them from the 9. This defense, it is what it is. Take it or leave it. If you don't like the bend don't break style that Adam Fuller plays, like get rid of him. But I mean, I don't know. Like you've given yourself an opportunity. In today's college football, you're not going to hold people to 9 points. We talked about a lot. 20 points, 20 to 28 points is pretty much. You have a good defensive effort. That's something like what you're going to give up against this SMU team. They've got some playmakers. They've got a running quarterback. All these things, but yeah, the offense is tough, man. I don't understand the red zone calls, and then like again in the first half, they got a lot of things right. They figured something out with DJU and getting comfortable and releasing the ball. But then you have guys making drops on top of it. And that's why I'm trying really hard not to hammer on DJ, because I feel like in this game, DJ gave us like everything what they're working on, the reason they've stuck with him this long. Like he's approaching, he's getting closer and closer to like what you kind of imagined in a DJU. But every time he gets rhythm, the coaching staff takes him right out of it. The coaching staff puts him in a position that boom, and it's like, man, you just keep throwing shit against the wall, keep doing the same exact thing like it's going to change. They finally put Landon Thomas in. DJU airmailed. He was open in the end zone earlier, and DJU airmailed it after they benched Morlock. Then Mario Williams came in. He had a drop. I think Landon Thomas had a holding earlier in the game. They both had a couple mistakes, but Landon Thomas made a mistake and then turned around and caught a touchdown and made an athletic play at tight end that we haven't seen in a long time. So moving forward, I mean, you just can't put Morlock out there. How we let Biscuit walk and somehow kept Morlock. Boy, I've got a Florida friend who, like, I went back and forth over Morlock when Napier. They didn't offer him a scholarship. They said he could come on as a walk-on, and I thought, man, as sorry as y'all are, like, y'all can't use a tight end. I thought it was crazy that they just let us pick him up when they had ties there. They just didn't even offer him a scholarship. But looking back on it, looks like Napier and those Florida fans were right. Not that they're any better than we are; they still suck. But I don't know. At least they got a quarterback. If we don't figure something out on offense by the time we play Florida, if they put the young guy in, I could see us either one. I don't know. There's a saying right now in college football, pretty much anybody can be beat. There is no just walking away, going away. Well, that's how FSU is. Like, we can lose to anybody. We could literally lose to anybody. We could beat a lot of teams. Like, we could beat a ranked team. We could put it together. But we could also lose every single one of them. I guess that's what makes it so frustrating. Just like in 2018 when you had, Tamorion Terry, you have Cam Akers, you have all these beasts that you see, Kalen LeBourne in 2017. Like, if they could just break free, like, man, these are some of the best players in the country. You've got better players than almost everybody you play, but you can't block and you can't get it to them. You can't do the bare minimums of college football. And what hurts so bad is you did it. Like, you did it. Like, how? It's so obvious. And again, being a coach quarterback here, a couch quarterback, I didn't play in the NFL. I didn't play college football. But you see it. On the play that Landon Thomas scored, right before that, they had like a 16-yard run from Toafili. Come back. Okay, we run it on first down. It got stuffed. But the safeties and linebackers are creeping up because you're getting back to running the ball after you went down 2 scores. Settle down. Let's just go for, everybody calm down. We have a chance. We got a quarter and a half. And you drive down, you score a touchdown. Yeah. So why do you go away from it? Why do you all of a sudden get a set of downs and you pass it 3 times and don't run it? Why do you all of a sudden get your first chance in the red zone and you run 2 quarterback run plays? Not quarterback sneaks. Quarterback run, speed option, off tackle, quarterback power. Like, answer me if I'm wrong, chat. Is Lawrence Toafili not far and away the best player on this offense, and it's not even close? Is he up to 6 yards a carry now? How does Toafili not get a ball on the goal line? A toss, a fake, something. How is he lead blocking for DJU? So that's what I keep going back to, is the coaching in this particular game. But, obviously, Morlock, you got to sit him. You got to start the young guys. It's time for the youth movement. This isn't the game to me that you bench DJ. Like, we've been talking about that conversation about Brock, but I don't know. At what point do you give him a chance to play early in a game? Give him a shot? I don't know. But if Mike can't wrap his head around coaching DJU like he needs to be coached, how he was coached in that first half until you got into the freaking red zone, if he can't make himself do that, then put in somebody else that can do it. And seeing the plays that he called for Brock Glenn, these crazy 7-step drops and him being way back there looking deep down the field when he came in, doesn't inspire any confidence that he can. Like, I don't get it, man. It's hard. It's hard to defend this stuff. Seat's getting warm. I can tell you that. They're not going to fire him. We've said that all along. They're not going to fire him this year, probably not even next year. But this whole thing of Mike Norvell calling the plays at Florida State, I think that's over. He doesn't need to call another play at Florida State. I love Mike. I've been a big fan. He's been growing as a head coach. I think when you lose a leader like Jordan Travis, that you poured into for 4 years to get him to the level he was, the leader he was on the field. You know, how many dribbles between his legs, how many all-out rushes that he, you know, juked 18 people and ran it for a touchdown. Like, all that stuff is not something that's able to happen with DJU. You have to run the football and stay on schedule. You can't have him 3rd and 11, 3rd and 10 in these situations where they're dropping 8 or rushing 10. So that was one point when I was a little pissed at DJU. Again, I want to focus on, like, I think DJU did the best he could under his coaching in this game, but there was one play, and it's like my biggest problem with DJU this year. There's 10 guys in the box and one guy at linebacker depth. 10 guys in the box, one in linebacker depth. I can't remember what our formation was, but I'm pretty sure we had at least 3 wide receivers. He takes the snap and just drops 2-step drop, plants, and starts going through his reads. It's an all-out blitz. And then he runs back and gets sacked for a loss, big loss. The only thing you can't take to take you out, mess up your field position. Like, that's day one stuff. They sent 10 people. There's nobody covering the wide receivers. They're all open. Throw it to any of them. And to the point, earlier in the game, that's exactly what they were doing with those RPO reads. He was very comfortable with it. You could see it clearly. He could make that RPO read and hit it. But whenever it's an all-out pressure or any kind of hot blitz, or he's got somebody that he knows is unaccounted for, he is not capable of throwing it where that corner is blitzing it from. Or I don't know if he gets confused or whatever the case may be. But again, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hammer on DJU because, again, I think this game really reflected that maybe we have been tough on DJU. Maybe he just got some god-awful coaching, because it's tough, man. You've got seniors all the way across the offensive line, defensive line, tight ends, and this offense is putrid. Putrid. And you won't give the star of the damn thing the ball. You won't give it to 9. 9 only gets the ball between the 20s. He gets you to the end zone, and then he's done. He draws all the linebackers and safeties in, and then you throw him on the bench. I hope Cam Davis isn't hurt. I didn't see him much late in the game, and he was running really good. He was a big part of that running game in the first half that kept FSU on schedule and in this game. When they stopped doing that, when they got crazy and started getting behind the chains and having all the penalties and things of that nature, when you get back to 2nd and 17, 3rd and 17, you can't run it. You know, but why are you putting your quarterback in a position to be taking these drops and to be running around at depth to get sacked for an 8-yard loss? Like, those plays shouldn't even be in. You know, it is what it is. I disagree with people hating on Cam in the comments. He's just super young. He doesn't quite have that wiggle yet, but he is definitely a good power runner, and he falls forward with good balance. J Money says, run Toafili Wildcat. I've been talking about this since after the first game that you lost by 3 points. The Wildcat was a weapon with Toafili all season last year, in the red zone, everywhere. Between the 20s, you play in the ACC championship, Toafili was the MVP of the game. He took as many snaps as quarterback as Brock Lane did. I may be talking out of my ass there, but he did. He took a ton of snaps at Wildcat and made plays. What Lawrence Toafili has is that just senior. The game is slowed down for him compared to everybody on this offense, and it's not close. He is able to see where the blocks are going to go and be patient and run where the yards are consistently over and over and over again. And what you need on the goal line when it's 2 teams in jumbo sets is you either need to get under center and take your ass straight downhill. You need an athletic quarterback who can do what they try to do, which DJU is not. Or you need a running back that can Le'Veon Bell it. And okay, where it's designed is no good. But guess what? I'm patient. I can bounce it outside. Or I can scrape down the line and find another gap. And that's what Toafili does great. And then you don't even give him the ball at all. Like, find a creative way to get him the ball. Toss it to him. Something. I just put him in the Wildcat. You're never going to get those 2 snaps back. But holy shit. It's just crazy. Incompletion. Stuff. 3 DJU plays, 1 for Toafili. DJU goes backwards, Toafili goes forward 6 yards. Key drops, key penalties, key blown blocks. Yeah. The drops, man. And that's why I'm trying to be easy on DJU, because he had some rhythm going. I feel like the coaching staff pulled DJU out of his rhythm. And then in the second half, it was the drops. Lack of confidence from the wide receivers and the tight ends. Kyle Morlock has bricks for hands, dude. He has bricks for hands. To see that, you're hoping you can get some things together, get it going, and to see that happen, for DJU to hit him perfect, right in his hands and stride. I mean, he didn't throw it on the wrong side. He didn't throw it high. He didn't throw it low. I mean, Morlock turns in his route, and the ball is, it's picture perfect. It's 2-hand touch in the park with your friends when you're a little kid, and you finally get to catch the ball over the shoulder that first time. That's what it was, perfect. And it's like, it's crazy the way he tries to catch. He tries to trap it in his chest. It's tough, but we don't have time to figure those yips out. It's time for Landon Thomas, and it's time for Amari Williams. Period. End of story. This team has the potential with the defense it has, and what the offense can do when it puts together, to win several games the rest of this year. But they've got the potential to lose them all. They have got the potential to lose them all. People talking about Trevor Jackson. Why isn't he getting playing time? It's tough. He's a true freshman. I'd love to see a package. If you're on the goal line and you're going to run the damn quarterback twice. I can't get away from this, guys. You're running the quarterback because you got an extra blocker. So why wouldn't you put a quarterback? If you're not going to play action, if you're not going to toss, if it's not going to be an RPO, if it's not going to be an actual option, if it's just going to be him running behind some blockers, why wouldn't you put Trevor Jackson in there? Why wouldn't you put Luke Rummenhoff, Brock Glenn? Any quarterback on this roster is better than him. So why are you forcing him to do that? Why not run it on 3rd down and then play action on 4th down? Why not a toss? Why not anything, man? Anything. I guess if DJU scores on that, we never have this conversation, but I don't think I'm the only one alone. I think I've seen just about every single person from FSU, or that I follow on Twitter, saying the same thing about that. To see that and see the it's like the defense just took a knife to the gut after that pick, and then to turn around, and the defense hasn't quit yet. They're still in it. They get a 3 and out, and then you get that face mask penalty, and it was just like, that's it. Tiny Hat has said something in the chat. It's a quote. I can't remember where exactly it came from, but like, attitude reflects leadership, I think is what it is. Attitude reflects leadership. This one's on the coaches to me, man. These coaches got to figure out the pulse of this team. They got to figure out who can do what on this team, because I'm done. It doesn't matter what's happening in practice. Morlock can't catch. DJU can't run. So can we stop throwing it to Morlock and stop running DJU, please? Is that too much to ask?